Welcome back to Daytona at Holly Hill for MLP Daytona by Margaritaville. We are moments away from our second quarterfinal matchup between the St. Louis Shock and New Jersey 5's. Michelle McMahon and Cameron Irwin in the booth with you. But first, if you're new here, let's catch you up on what exactly Major League Pickleball is to this point in the tournament. We're back on championship court. It is time for the final quarterfinal matchup. 12 teams began, only 5 remain. The LA Mad Drops punching their ticket to the first semifinal matchup against Seattle. And now we have the coin toss between the New Jersey 5's and Jay Devilliers warming up those hips early for the St. Louis Shock. Getting things going early. Annalie Waters, the first overall pick from this year's draft. This is the second MLP event as we learn who the home team is. 5's won the toss.
If you're new somehow, you're on a Dream Breakers, well, stay tuned. Get there, we'll talk about it then. However,
I believe that means they would choose to be the home team, but we'll have Chet Edwards on the sideline checking on that to let us know for confirmation. But for now, it is all pickleball on championship court. The winner of this one will take on the unbeaten California BLQK Bears in the semifinal game tomorrow, Sunday morning at 11 a.m. As we welcome you into the booth, Michelle McMahon alongside my partner in crime this evening, pickleball expert Cameron Irwin. And you had a chance, Cameron, to catch up with both sides. What did you learn when it came to this quarterfinal round?
Well, I first spoke to Leigh Waters, who's coaching the New Jersey 5's, and also the mother of Annalie Waters. I asked her specifically about this duo and Annalie playing alongside Leigh Jansen. And one of the elements that she talked about is they haven't really played that often together, right? Just back at MLP Mesa. So there's some communication that has to take place. Look for them to maybe have Leigh Jansen slide a little bit more, find her forehand on the backhand side, and let Annalie Waters play freely through the middle with her backhand. Now on the opposing side, I also caught up with Jay Devilliers, and I asked him specifically about the chemistry of the St. Louis Shock, and I loved his answer. He said it has continued to grow every single time they step on to the court, and they said it's all about the veteran experience of the 4 players. And get this is one of my favorite pieces. The 4 players for the St. Louis Shock are all older than all 4 of the players on the opposing side. There is youth versus veterans without a doubt in this matchup.
I love that. We'll see if Hayden Patriquin gets spicy in his interviews like he did yesterday, talking about not losing to old people. Not that they're old, mid-30s. I mean, come on. You're offending more than just the players, Hayden. Down there, just kidding. Great insight there, Cameron. As we get set for first serve, Annalie Waters will kick us off. 2019 national champ. Earned that one with her mom, Leigh, who's coaching from the sideline. Became the youngest ever professional pickleball player at just 12 years old. And 4 years later, look what she's done, Cameron. One of the best on the tour, the best in women's singles, and an incredible athlete to watch as we begin with the second quarterfinal match on championship court.
0-0.
Leigh Leigh Jansen sails that one long, so the veteran partnership of Simone Jardim and Elise Jones, at least maybe not partnership, but two veteran gals.
Well, and to your point, even though that ball is just through the middle, they do love playing alongside one another. Chemistry is an underrated element in the game of pickleball. You have to be able to communicate, and energy builds from one partner to the next. There's the two-hand backhand from Leigh Waters. She can do so much damage, whether it's countering, whether it's also picking up and resetting a ball, just as she did in the middle of the transition zone there.
Ooh, goes for the line that time for Leigh Waters. Explain the positioning, Cameron, for Leigh Waters. She's playing the right side, shifting over to that middle. You explained it briefly, but dive in a little bit more on that up to this point. Right there, and what that means for the shot.
Yeah, and I think one of the big elements is Leigh Waters is one of the best when she's on the move. And so giving her some more court to cover, she has that wicked two-handed backhand, but also she can create so many opportunities on her forehand side. So watch her shift and then play balls just like that.
Jardim targets the young Leigh Waters.
I love it from Simone Jardim, taking a shot and even cross court. This is one of the more difficult types of speed ups, and you can see takes that out of the air, straddles the kitchen line. Fantastic play from Jardim.
Leigh Waters answers right back from one of the youngest in the game to one of the greatest of all time. It's an interesting balance there.
4-3.
Jardim goes for the forehand side of Waters. That ball drops in. Why was that a smart shot?
I mean, look at how much space there is. There's the pinch, slightly middle. Amazing shot by Simone Jardim up the line. And she finds it again, the same thing. There's so much space right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how much middle Leigh Waters will be pinching. Important to note, you saw where her left foot was. It was right on the center line.
5-4.
It was. We'll see if she shifts any further. Nope, not that time. She takes the middle again, unfazed by the two winners down the line, Leigh Waters.
Yeah, just a nice recognition by the New Jersey 5's. You saw Leigh Jansen shift herself around the corner looking for the Ernie.
Oh, Elise Jones then finds the backside, or the forehand side, rather, of Leigh Waters. That wide open spot on the court a couple times now, Cam.
You know what, it's funny because it almost feels as if that's her backside.
Yeah, exactly, because her backhand's so good. And Leigh Jansen isn't anything to snuff at over on her side of the court.
Well, and that's
playing more of a support role in this one.
Well, and to a certain extent, still also trying to be the aggressor by her coming around the edge there. Pretty much the New Jersey 5's are asking the St. Louis Shock to beat Leigh Waters' forehand.
7-6.
And there goes Simone Jardim finding that forehand court once again. Leigh Waters looks to be a little frustrated.
Yeah, and rightly so. She was definitely on the move throughout that rally, but the defense of Jones and Jardim, they are some of the best in terms of contact and those soft hands when it's coming their direction. Also a fantastic job, Elise Jones, who's been playing a little bit more singles, and it's fun to see her with a third shot drive.
Jones misses that one, and so the 5's climb within 2. So far, strategy unfolding, patterning seems clear. We'll dive in just a moment. All right, Simone Jardim catches Annalie Waters once again. So far, the Shock seem to be working the strategy to Annalie Waters' forehand, and it seems to be working. Not the backhand, though.
Not so much, and again, that's the difference in location of speed up. I don't mind the idea, as they have had so much success going up the line, testing out a new location, trying to make a preemptive move versus a reactionary.
What a lob from AL. Your hands went up in the middle of that point. What'd you see, Ken?
Just in shock by the contact of Simone Jardim as she's running to her left, finds the backhand chicken wing return. I have no idea how she got that ball back, but again, relentless pressure and power from the overheads of the New Jersey 5's.
Okay, Annalie Waters coming to life early on the backhand, tying things up.
Yeah, and finding some more opportunities to do such as a nice little replay. I mean, might as well look back to a Hustler's view.
10-10.
The Shock, the first team to 11, as we will take an end change and a timeout on the way there. So far, patterning you're noticing, and what's working, what's not.
Well, and this is one of those critical junctures, right? At the 11-10 mark, this is when players can chat with the rest of their teams, recognize those patterns, and make adjustments. So I'm very curious to see what adjustments are going to take shape for the St. Louis Shock. The last several or so points, there has been a little bit of a change in terms of the speed-up location. They haven't been going as often to the forehand side of Annalie Waters. They've tried to throw a few balls through the middle, and it hasn't quite worked out. So we'll see in terms of the speed-up location where that is coming. But I also like the fact that the speed-ups are coming at the hand of the St. Louis Shock. Two defensive-minded players, but still looking to create their own opportunities.
Leigh Waters engaged with her daughter there on the left-hand side of your screen. That's Hayden Patriquin on the front and center. Simone Jardim looking to exploit whatever Leigh Waters is dishing out to her daughter, Annalie Waters. You have so many masterminds of the game on the court right now, especially Simone Jardim, one of the greatest of all time in the sport, a trailblazer at that. Allyce Jones was locked in and ready for the pace.
Well, and Leigh Jansen, the first to try and take a shot here with the one-hand backhand roll. And this is just a good read from Allyce. She stays true a little bit more to the right side of the court and opens up that forehand counter.
Annalie Waters cleaned up the effort of Leigh Jansen, who set that point up beautifully.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right in terms of the setup shots, right? You're seeing several very aggressive dinks in terms of the location against Simone Jardim, really making her have to work at the kitchen line. And Allyce Jones with a nice shot right there. And there is definitely a little bit more of an adjustment anytime Simone is getting a ball on the line. Annalie Waters is taking about a step and a half to her right.
Jardim tests the backhand of Annalie Waters, who goes into the net, enjoying a 3-point lead. One of their biggest of the game so far. Allyce Jones to serve to Annalie Waters. Jardim goes for it, smiling on the miss.
Well, and that ball, as easy as you might think it is, it's actually one of the more difficult just because of the arm slot location. That's not a shot you're typically taking. It's also from a great depth in the court, so the angle to get over the top of the net is very different.
Annalie Waters gets any ball in any part of the court on her side.
So fun to watch her just go ball after ball on the move again. She's so great at going from forehand to backhand to forehand. Doesn't matter. She's going to go for it in terms of those hand battles.
Jardim powers through to maintain a 2-point lead. How?
I'm just so impressed by Simone Jardim in terms of her speed up locations. Now she's gone all the way to the other side, sped up cross court and cross body of Leigh Jansen. She continues to evolve as the game does.
Jardim punches that one home to make it another 3-point lead on the side of the Shock.
Angles, angles, angles for Simone Jardim. Not trying to do too much, and Allyce Jones gives her a nice big hug as a reward.
So it's the veterans against the youthful. And so far, the experience is paying off on the side of the St. Louis Shock. Why do you think their strategy is working so far, Cameron?
You know, I think a lot of the locations in terms of mixing up their speed up locations keeps the New Jersey Fives just off balance enough. Just as soon as you think you have a read, we always talk about this game being like chess, not checkers, right? And right now they're making early moves, making the adjustment before they have to react to what's happening on the other side of the court. Very impressed with their play in terms of being one step ahead in some of the locations they're hitting.
Just going to say it, you hit it on the head. They're one step ahead of their own adjustments. Makes it difficult to game plan for when they're changing it up.
Well, and I will say, too, I think Jardim and Jones's games really complement one another. Allyce Jones is known to be one of the rocks of pickleball. I love the fact that she will look not only to reset the ball, but just be steady. She knows what her job is, to get the dinks back, but also she refuses to let a dig not go her direction.
Simone Jardim lights up Leigh Jansen, who is frustrated on the side of the Fives.
17-13.
Annalie Waters powers that one back. The call is out of bounds, and we might have a challenge.
And I think this is the one location that's rather dicey on the speed up. You saw Annalie Waters heavy with the two-hand backhand through the middle.
New Jersey is challenging the call of the out call made by St. Louis.
So they are indeed going to challenge it, the New Jersey Fives. The call on the St. Louis Shock side was out of bounds. Here's a new nuance for this tournament. Each team gets 2 free challenges. We've been talking about it all tournament long, but just in case you're new here, each team gets 2 free challenges. And so if the call is incorrect for the St. Louis Shock and the Fives are correct and the call is overturned to call that ball in for Annalie Waters, then the St. Louis Shock would lose one of their 2 free timeouts. On the flip side, if this is an incorrect challenge and the ball is indeed confirmed out of bounds for the New Jersey Fives, they would just surrender one of their free challenges on their side. And you don't run out of challenges in the game, it just turns into points after you lose your free ones. So That's the scoop.
Yeah, definitely a new element in MLP as you now take a look at the shot.
That's a tough angle.
And it is a tough angle because that's actually the freeze frame is just before, so really hard to tell from that angle.
Behind it. Yeah, being.
And also, it's important to note, pickleballs do not compress like a tennis ball. So even though you might think that maybe if you were to push that ball down, it might be on the line. Hard to tell again from that angle, from behind.
Especially when you're behind the ball, it always looks more in from behind it than it would from the side. So.
And I will say the officials do have different views as well. So we saw just one view. There are several cameras on each of the lines.
The review, the call on the court stands. The ball was out.
Right. So to your point, Cameron, there were other angles that showed the ball out of bounds. That was a tricky one to evaluate the call on just based on the one we saw, but live it looked like the ball was out from what you and I could both see from the booth. Goes big against Jones and Jardim. Jardim is so good at frustrating the players out in front of her because she's so incredible with her resets, and she'll work you, and she gets to everything, and she's so smart in the moment. That experience paying off right now.
And I will say, too, about that last rally from Leigh Waters, that was just one of the first times you saw Leigh try and speed up the ball herself. So often it's been the St. Louis Shock attacking the New Jersey 5's.
And Jones lofts that one in, just misses.
And again, it looks like since that timeout, they've definitely made a switch in terms of the New Jersey 5's, looking to attack Leigh Jansen there just off the bounce.
Ooh, Leigh Jansen with a nice flick down the line to Allyce Jones. And the New Jersey 5's crawling right back in to game number 1 here on Championship Court in this second quarterfinal matchup.
60-19.
Jardim goes a little high, and Leigh Jansen all the time in the world to pick her shot.
Yeah, and that was a pretty nasty paddle clank right there. Hopefully they're both okay. But again, yeah, the dink dropped way, way high, and you knew Leigh Jansen was going to take a shot at it. The biggest question is, where's it going to go? I think Leigh Jansen did a nice job holding her paddle there.
Well, according to the head-to-head numbers, Leigh Waters and Leigh Jansen with a 56% win probability over Simone Jardim and Allyce Jones, who are so far proving by a very slim margin that experience pays off in life sometimes. And Simone Jardim, one of the GOATs in the sport, the only pro open player to date to have won gold in singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles in all 3 majors, Nationals, the US Open, and the Tournament of Champions. Used to be the head coach of the Michigan State women's tennis team and a former college tennis player herself. She will return the serve on Jansen. Allyce Jones holding the kitchen line, forcing Leigh Jansen back. It worked. So Jones will take game point on her paddle. They're frozen on 20. They must win on their serve. Oh, so hard to stop Leigh Waters when she gets going. Jardim with a miss. So we're now frozen on both sides. 2018. Leigh Waters with a chance to earn some points on her serve.
18-20.
Jardim goes long, and we have a 1-point game. The 5's trailing by 1.
Just incredible momentum shift for the New Jersey 5's, being so consistent at the kitchen line and just being the aggressors at this point.
19-20.
Shot from Leigh Jansen down the middle, creating the miscommunication.
And a great play by Leigh Jansen. This is exactly what Leigh Waters was talking about. She went inside out forehand, creating space. Leigh Waters sitting middle, applying pressure.
From Jardim goes wide. All the momentum on the side of the New Jersey 5's.
Oh boy, here we go. The New Jersey 5's, everything trending in their direction.
You know the 5's are on the court when the crowd is on their feet making noise, cowbells are going. This is a close call, and the St. Louis Shock are challenging this out call. I'm pretty sure Simone Jardim knew it was wide. She could feel it off her paddle. That's why she didn't instantly go to the challenge, but the captain challenged it anyways. Might as well take a timeout to regroup. You get 2 free challenges, you might as well use them.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think it's a smart call too, just in terms of trying to slow the momentum just enough. Simone Jardim, after that rally, taking responsibility, looking at Allyce Jones saying, that's on me, that's my bad. Again, here's a look at the call.
Yeah.
Thinking that ball
couple inches there.
Is out of bounds, but right now they're going to have to receive serve yet again and figure out exactly where their locations are going to be. They've looked a couple times, Allyce Jones to the forehand side, just in terms of dinking the direction of Leigh Waters, try and get her off her spot. However, so far she has answered the call.
21-20.
Jardim maybe hit an out ball, goes into the net there, saves the New Jersey 5's. That is a heartbreaker for the Shock, who looked like they had this one under control.
Just such a tough take there for Simone Jardim, who gets backed up off the kitchen line. She tried to find the right side of the court. That's one of the toughest shots to have to pull back, but what a rally from the New Jersey 5's.
So the pressure now on Jay Devilliers and Erik Lange as they take the court for the St. Louis Shock on the right side of your screen. The winners, Leigh Waters and Leigh Jansen, standing by now with our Chet Edwards. Chet.
Thanks, Michelle. Leigh, Leigh, you're down 19-13. What's the mindset at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were feeling good the whole match. I never thought that we were felt down. Sometimes at MLP there's so much energy, and I think a lot of people thrive on that, and I definitely do, but I think I just got a little too much energy and I was too poppy on the court. So I just kind of, calmed down, settled in, went back to the game plan. Me and Leigh, I think, just got our stuff together, did the game plan, and executed it at the end.
And Leigh, how much confidence does it give you knowing that AL can cover so much court, and it kind of gives you some freedom to move the ball around?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't think it's a secret. I prefer my forehand, so it allows me to hit my preferred shot by running around my forehand. We're getting still used to playing with each other, and now I think we finally have found our formation.
Well, we're going to have more action coming up with men's doubles right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Introducing Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of Major League Pickleball. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous relaxed fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of Major League Pickleball.
Match point. It's all up to me. Nothing can get in my way. And when they ask, what are you gonna do next? I'll say, I'm going.
We're going to Margaritaville!
You can go to Margaritaville too. Visit MargaritavilleResorts.com.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. You need supplements that are backed by science with natural and plant-based ingredients and that are third-party tested. Because cleaner is better. Like Ora Organic. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at oraorganic.com.
The Pro XR Pickleball Paddle answers the age-old question of how to get paddle speed and control with the same paddle and one grip, and this is it. Pro XR gives you more spin, greater control, and quicker reloads on every shot in the game, because you always have that constant feel for that leverage and control and paddle speed that we're all looking for. Pro XR is the most revolutionary technology in pickleball.
Back on championship court, time for some men's doubles. Let's see if experience pays off this time. We thought it would. In game number 1, it seemed like it was going in that direction for Simone, Jardim, and Allyce Jones, but ultimately the youth and spry of Annalie Waters and her partner Leigh Jansen dethroning the experience of Jardim and Jones. Here's how it shapes out. A perfect split, win probability-wise, between the 5's and the shock for the men's doubles duo. So you have James Ignatowich and Hayden Patriquin against Jay Devilliers and Erik Lange. Erik Lange is as tall as some say a tree, so he is a big body on his side, as is Jay Devilliers. And then you have Hayden Patriquin, who's
just minorly left.
Minorly, just a growing tree. He'll get there one day. And James Ignatowich has both Hayden Patriquin and James Ignatowich have incredible hands, but when it comes to the combination and the size of Devilliers and Lange, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I actually caught up with Erik Lange prior to this matchup, and I asked him specifically not only about the chemistry of this team, but he said one of the big elements is he wants Jay to play freely. He wants him to feel like a rock star out there. He says that's when Jay plays his best. And again, it's so funny, as much as we talk to these athletes and ask analysis and what's the strategy, what are the patterns, don't get me wrong, that is all crucial. But the first thing that's always out of their mouth, it's energy, it's chemistry. You know, you think to Rafa Hewitt and the New York Hustlers, and the first thing he says to me is, Cam, it's just pickleball. You got to play pickleball.
It's true.
Well, that's exactly
at the end of the day. You're right.
Exactly, but that's the case, I think, first and foremost for Erik Lange playing alongside Jay Devilliers. On the other side, for Hayden Patriquin and James Ignatowich, in talking to Leigh Waters, she said they want to strike first. They want to come right out of the gates, be the aggressors. She also said that they've been getting themselves into some hand battles and winning them on the weekend. That maybe is the one area that when you're looking at Hayden Patriquin, just a little bit more undersized compared to the other three, that could be questioned. However, she said these two are playing lights out at the kitchen line in that regard.
Patriquin with the serve to Lange. Ooh, Patriquin early with a grin on the hands battle right there, Cameron.
Well, and right on cue, I love it. Hayden Patriquin, I mean, this is the stuff he's going to feed off of. He says, bring on the pace. He's ready.
Patriquin came out firing right away, and so far that strategy is working.
And I love it again, just out of the gates. Look at this quick whip from Hayden Patriquin. Those strokes are so fast.
Quick whip is right. James Ignatowich not too bad himself in that department. And so we have a rocketing start so far for the New Jersey 5s.
That is an amazing shaped ball from James Ignatowich in terms of the location on the drive.
A miss there. That's going to happen when you're playing high risk, high reward pickleball, but credit to Hayden Patriquin, who came out of the gate early and firing. James Ignatowich, some of the fastest hands in the game, Cameron.
And again, check this out. Right out of the air, James Ignatowich reaching through the middle to speed up the ball.
Lange goes long, not an error you want to take when you're on the defense so far with the 5s. So Ignatowich goes to Devilliers, the Frenchman. Lange into the net, so the 5s on top by 5.
And this is a cyclical effect, right? Because you're thinking, how do I keep the ball down? How can I keep them neutralized in terms of the speed up? So now your dinks are getting that much more tight.
Oh, Devilliers answering the door on the Ernie.
And he tried to set this up before, but it worked out one ball earlier than he anticipated in the previous rally. Take a look at this nice little whip to the sideline. Quick feet from Devilliers.
Oh, Patriquin, what a play! Brings Devilliers out to the sideline, then burns him down the middle. My goodness, I'm sure the Shock knew they were going to come out aggressive, but maybe not this aggressive, Cameron. It's impressive how they've been able to be consistent and winning the points. Again, what do you do?
Well, and it's also impressive for another regard, and the fact that the men's doubles competition happens second. So that means they've been sitting. So they have been itching to get on the court for the entirety of the women's doubles match. So for them to feel this in rhythm is rather remarkable.
Especially to find the rhythm when it's pure fire. I mean, there's no room for error when you're speeding everything up, and the fact that they're able to speed it up and keep it in play is impressive.
And that's a good way right there. Again, it's going to be so important for them to be able to keep some of those dinks down, trying to get this game slowed down to a more manageable pace.
Oh, James Ignatowich punching that ball to the baseline.
I mean, this thing just came flying off his paddle. There's no getting that spring. It's unreal.
The arm and the whip speed, as you mentioned earlier.
That's a nice shot right there. Good first counter from Erik Lange on the third shot drive coming his direction.
So Devilliers looking for any spark of momentum on the side of the Shock. Nearly drops it in, and the 5s take it back, 1 point away from the end change.
Just look at how fantastic this championship court is, too. This crowd has been wonderful all day.
A bird's eye view. You're right, Cameron. There is Jay Devilliers answering the bell down the middle.
So if you're playing against James Ignatowich, there's a few things you need to be careful of. One, he loves to drive the ball from the baseline, but also he has a great flick off the bounce on his forehand side and loves his two-hand backhand. What did I say about off the bounce of the forehand? James Ignatowich just quickly recognizing the ball and beautiful spin.
Predicting the future on that one, James Ignatowich and Hayden Patriquin have come out blazing, and they're not looking back so far. The first team to 11. If you're Jay Devilliers right now and Erik Lange, it's almost like you just got slapped in the face with something and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't even have a chance to think about what's happening. So, okay, you regroup, Now what?
Well, I think there's an assessment period, right? So you have to consider the fact that, yes, they're coming at you. Is the answer going to be
slow it down?
That, or do you go back with more aggression? I don't know if the latter is the answer. So in terms of trying to slow it down, you have to be so careful against James Ignatowich right now because he is really lights out. I mentioned the ball through the middle, off the bounce. He's willing to speed that up at any regard. I think off the backhand side, he is going to be a little bit more neutralized in terms of maybe the speed up location, only minorly compared to the forehand side, but I don't even think that's the location. I think you've got to get the ball over to Hayden Patriquin and force him to have to create some offense.
Yeah, it seems like the Shock right now struggling with the firefight, so why not try slowing it down, see where that gets you, but it seems like the 5s can speed up just about anything.
It's also going to be important that first volley for the St. Louis Shock as those third shot drives have been coming their way, even though they go with a drop there.
Devilliers speeds it up that time on Ignatowich.
Well, and this is one of the other ways you can kind of change some of the pace. So instead of returning that ball to the direction of James Ignatowich, who's been lighting that third shot up, maybe you go to Hayden Patriquin and see if he'll give you a few more drops.
A deflating miss of serve there for Devilliers, and so serve and point returns to the side of the 5s. Patriquin to Lange. Easy put away for Jay.
But again, that's that switch. So returning the ball to Hayden Patriquin. Don't get me wrong, the guy's got power from the baseline as well, but it's a little different than James Ignatowich.
Oh, what a shot from Jay Devilliers, working the backside of Ignatowich.
And again, that's that shot. So if you were going to maybe dink one direction, obviously Hayden Patriquin, they're going to look to him, but also that backhand side of...
Oh, another missed serve for Devilliers. That's 2 in a row. Something we almost never see.
39.
And that's another missed serve. And I will say, too, I'm not going to just blame it on the weather, but it is significantly different than it was just about an hour ago. So the ball plays differently, not only off the paddle, but also off the ground.
Because it's getting a little cooler, correct?
Absolutely. But you saw the different pattern take place right there. Dinking occasionally to the two-hand backhand of James Ignatowich, and then the forehand, trying to keep those balls shallow into the kitchen and unattackable.
14-10.
Oh, Devilliers with a backhand sweep and a beauty. Oh, Erik Lange nearly had the wide open shot down the line on Ignatowich. No dice, so the 5s stay on top with a healthy lead over the Shock. Devilliers.
The double Ernie from Devilliers. He gets around the edge, and then look at this. His shot's so nasty, he's able just to stand on the side of the court for the overhead.
Crowd liked that one. Have one, Ernie. Have two. Okay. The 5s back in their groove. The owner of the 5s, Gary Vaynerchuk, you may know him as a media mogul. His general manager, Ryan Harwood, is usually spicy on the sidelines, if you're wondering who that man is. A wide finish for Devilliers. Ignatowich creating the opening there.
Yeah, great adjustment there by Ignatowich. He recognizes they're looking to dink to that backhand side, quick off the bounce. Might be time for another adjustment.
Ooh, just barely out of bounds for Hayden Patriquin, who opted to go for the drive that time.
Yeah, I actually really like the look. He had been looking to drop as many of those had been coming his direction. Tries to change pace.
Ignatowich finds the baseline. 3 points away from closing in on game 2 and a 2-game lead on the Shock.
And this is an interesting one. Devilliers originally thinking that ball is good. However, Erik Lange saying the ball was out of bounds.
I'm sorry, the ball on the court is out.
Important to note, Devilliers was the one trying to play the ball, which sometimes can make it that much more challenging to call the correct call.
So 5s are going to challenge, as the ruling now on the court is that it was out of bounds, according to Erik Lange and the captain, Jay Devilliers. So New Jersey challenges within the 10-second window that they have to do so. And we will await the verdict. And as we do, the 5s have created another 3-point gap in theory. Maybe more, depending on what happens here. But what are you seeing right now on their side? They obviously brought the firepower early, and they haven't stopped. But what else are they doing well on their side right now to stay there against Devilliers and Lange?
You know, to be able to play at this level, one of the things you have to have is multiple tools in your toolbox. And I think you're starting to see each one of these players start to take out some of those tools. The two-hand speed up off the bounce from James Ignatowich is one of those. He started with the forehand off the bounce through the middle as that ball was coming his direction. You also saw Patriquin start to make adjustments from the baseline, whether it's a third shot drop or the third shot drive. So again, the game is all about adjustments, and they're going to ask you to have to play so many different types of balls, and very impressed with the answer of the New Jersey 5s right now.
Erik Lange was in deep discussion with Simone Jardim on the sideline. What do you think they're diving into on their side as far as what to continue to do less of, change?
I think they can still look to the right side of Hayden Patriquin in terms of some of those shorter dinks. Now, it's going to put Jay Devilliers in some uncomfortable positions just in terms of his ability. That line-to-line dink is one of the most difficult in terms of the margin of error is so slim, right? So it has to be shallow. You have to be very careful as that ball is going to come quickly right back at you. So he's got Hayden a few times just pushing that ball just beyond the kitchen line and setting himself up for the Ernie. So we'll see if he continues to find some success there.
Ruling is available to us now. Call is overturned. The ball is in, so that means the St. Louis Shock loses one of their free challenges. They still have one left on their side. And on the flip side, the 5s get to keep theirs.
Time in, 18-13.
Just wide for Patriquin.
14.
Hayden Patriquin with a snipe down the middle. Devilliers throwing his hands in the air, knowing he misplaced that one.
Well, and again, this is the risk reward I was just talking about, trying to find that forehand side, and Patriquin making the shift as well. So nice speed up from him on the forehand.
The 5s 2 points away from game number 2 victory. The hands of Hayden Patriquin are insane.
That was one heck of a snag just off the short hop there.
He's made incredible improvements since Mesa.
Well, and to your point, Leigh Waters said he was a little frustrated with his performance back in Mesa. He said, I have nothing to lose. I might as well just go for it here in Daytona Beach. And so far, she said, he's been the MVP.
He has, and Patriquin with a chance to finish it here. He does it. And so the New Jersey 5s came out to a hot start, and that might be an understatement. James Ignatowich, Hayden Patriquin trying to make their statement that youth prevails here on championship court anyway. And my goodness, they were so impressive to watch. What was the most impressive part about their performance for you, Cam?
I think that it was consistent throughout in terms of their energy output. Sometimes pickleball is these ebbs and flows of the game and making adjustments, but I'm really impressed that they started on fire and they finished at the same rate.
Cameron Irwin, Michelle McMahon here in the booth with you. Chet Edwards is down on the sideline as we await a chat with the victors, James Ignatowich and Hayden Patriquin with chat.
Thanks, Michelle. James, Hayden, you guys came in firing on all cylinders. How much does the atmosphere here for MLP help you to stay up at that level?
The atmosphere just makes you want to win more. Center court is always exciting, and you just stay locked in. So, yeah.
And James, very vocal, very fiery. Does that play into the mental game? Does it help you get up to that level?
Yeah, I mean, that and coffee are probably the two most important things when it comes to my mental game. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing both, so let's go.
Well, there you have it. The 5's going up 2-0 into mixed doubles. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Major League Pickleball is brought to you by Margaritaville, Aura Organic, Knockaround, Pro XR, Skechers, and Michelob Ultra.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. You need supplements that are backed by science with natural and plant-based ingredients and that are third-party tested. Because cleaner is better. Like Aura Organic. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
Dulce Vida, you are what you drink.
Oh my good Lord, what a feeling. All of this joy I've been stealing. We all need someone that can make us believe. So call me a man on a mission. I'm guilty by my own admission. Locked up but I break free. No chains could ever take me. Can't stop, won't stop, don't stop now.
At From With Pickleball, we believe in the power of our sport to unite a community. We have introduced hundreds of people to pickleball by funding a 10-court public facility in our hometown with leagues and lessons to make everyone feel valued. We take that same approach to our business with personalized customer service and same-day shipping from our huge inventory. When you order from With Pickleball, you're supporting a small business and a diverse community of pickleball fanatics. We have the gear you need and the service you can trust.
We're back on Championship Court. It is time now for the third mixed doubles matchup game here on Championship Court, the first mixed doubles matchup, and we will only get a fourth one if the St. Louis Shock can come away with a win here. So the home team is the New Jersey 5's. Interesting to me anyway that the Shock went with Allyce Jones and Erik Lange first, to which the 5's countered because they're the home team. They were able to react first, are putting out Leigh and James and saving Annalie Waters and Hayden Patriquin for the finishing duo if we should get to that point. My thought process is, wouldn't you put out Jay Devilliers and Simone Jardim first if you're the Shock?
It's really tough. Maybe you like one of the matchups more than the other in terms of Allyce, Erik, Leigh, and James. Maybe it's James versus Erik in the cross court, and then you've got Leigh and Allyce going back and forth, and it's also intriguing too. Those two know each other's games exceptionally well, as they are also women's doubles partners. But I think we want to look at a potential highlight. This is the Pickleball United rally of the match from the men's doubles matchup.
It's Jay Devilliers and the double Ernie, not once, but twice. And the finger wag. Or maybe one. Or just saying I'm number one at the double Ernie. We don't know. Either way, it was a fun point to watch and to call.
Again, the Pickleball United rally of the match. But it'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. I think Allyce Jones is just an absolute wall. I talked to Erik Lange about playing alongside her, and he said he only has one thing he can do, which is to stay positive. There's no way he can be negative on the pickleball court alongside Allyce Jones. He said it gives him an extra bump and power, and loves that she can bring the fire in that regard.
Not much James Ignatowich can't counter, but Erik Lange beats him that time. His reaction says it all.
Well, and really impressed with Allyce Jones right there in the middle of that hand battle, just resetting the ball continuously.
Timeout point 1. 1-1.
Ooh, Allyce Jones answers the counter first, just long for Lange. So the New Jersey 5's on top by 1. And once again, if they win this one, it's over for the Shock. Tough error, but a tough situation too.
I mean, again, the play of James Ignatowich continues from men's doubles now. He's going to continue to try and find the speed ups in any regard he can. It's also a little challenging, too, for Leigh Jansen as she now shifts to the right side of the court. She was playing at the left alongside Annalie Waters there, sending every ball her direction to this point. That was a great drop, but an even better ball from Leigh Jansen. A little deception on her battle.
4-2.
Jansen with the serve to Jones. Oh, James Ignatowich with that double two-handed backhand that he touts so much. Says nobody has a faster backhand than him, which might be true.
Well, his partner gave him an epic third shot drive that forced the pop-up. That first volley is so critical. That fourth ball, Jones and Lange need to look to apply just a bit more pressure.
Allyce Jones.
Well prepared for the counter. Same thing. She goes up the line and immediately sets up to be able to counter on the forehand side.
3-6.
A change of pace for Leigh Jansen, taking a little bit off that tough in transition zone. You expect somebody to take a full rip at the ball, and if they take 10 to 20% off, it's going to force a little bit more or less of a grip change in terms of strength on grip.
Oh. How about that grab from Erik Lange? Thought he was going to run over his partner, Allyce Jones, who's nimble as they come, a former defensive specialist, Utah State University, fellow volleyballer.
I know something about that.
Sorry, University of Utah, I believe.
Right now, they're just trying to play a game of keep away with James Ignatowich.
Sorry, Allyce Jones played volleyball at Utah Valley University, some place in Utah. She's very good. Oh, James Ignatowich sneaks that one down the middle.
Well, and that's maybe why they put them out, right? James Ignatowich just continues to have great rhythm and control on the speed up. That ball, a lot of times you'll see somebody come off the bounce and you're hoping that stays in. That was 2 feet within the court.
Oh, Release Jones was there. So close, not that time though.
Well, on a different slide from her, she had slid forehand for the counter previously. This time she goes more towards the backhand side. As you see Colin Johns sitting courtside.
Who's he cheering for?
That's a good question. I think he's more scouting to be able to help his brother out with the Seattle Pioneers.
Probably factual.
There's a little black book probably in his hand.
Is always obvious. The New Jersey 5's the first team to 11, and boy, does it look like they're running away with this one, Cameron. How are they able to create such a gap here?
I think it's the pace from not only the baseline, but also off the kitchen line. I'm liking the shake and bake power of both Leigh Jansen and James Ignatowich. James doing a nice job trusting his partner and the location of the third shot drive and being able to crash in and score several points in that regard through these first 11.
Do you think, and this is hindsight because it doesn't matter now, the shock, do you think Jardim and Devilliers could have been a better matchup here?
Well, it's tough because I actually talked to Leigh Waters about Hayden Patriquin and Annalie Waters in terms of their mixed doubles combination, and they have yet to lose here in Daytona Beach. So previously, you might have thought, well, maybe that's the case, but those two have been playing exceptionally well alongside one another.
So maybe the Shock went in with the mindset of, hey, listen, if we're going to win this thing all the way, our best chance of beating Waters and Patriquin is Jardim and Devilliers. Makes sense. Ignatowich to serve to Lange. Ooh, Lange was there for the counter, frustrated that he couldn't answer, and the 5's just continue on with the pressure and the dominance.
12-4.
Oh, smart shot for Jansen, just a bit wide on the backside of Erik Lange.
And they're taking one out of the New Jersey 5's book. Erik Lange taking a nice shot from the baseline. Right now, you just have to think one ball at a time. First two, they look to James Ignatowich, and then ultimately Leigh Jansen, but ball out.
13-6.
Just long for Leigh Jansen.
And you actually got a chance to see a little bit of what we call the hybrid in pickleball from the third shot. James Ignatowich with a two-hand backhand from the baseline. It's a mix between a drive and a drop. And now they're going at Ignatowich.
Interesting change of tactic.
8-13.
Ball is called out of bounds. Ignatowich thought he might have had it, but not enough to challenge.
Well, and doing a really nice job in terms of recognizing where Ignatowich's speed ups are coming from. They have come through the middle and then cross court. Both of those countered back. The one he's missed is the one up the line.
Erik Lange asking to check the ball. Either lopsided or potentially cracked. Nope. He's okay with it. So Jansen will take us back to serve to Allyce Jones.
14-9.
It's a nice return by Allyce Jones, pushing Leigh Jansen well beyond the baseline there.
So in MLP Mesa, the 5s got knocked out by the Hustlers during this phase in the quarterfinals. Oh, wow. Nobody was getting that ball back from James Ignatowich. This would be a large response for the 5s, who are looking for revenge from Mesa.
And again, I think they've got the scouting report a little bit more in tow now. As you've seen several times, Lange has covered middle off the speed up from James Ignatowich with his forehand. And then they've also been looking in some of those hands battles to still try and find the backside of James Ignatowich, hoping there's some more space there.
Timeout called on the floor, and the 5s have the 5-point lead. So anything can happen in rally scoring, but it is looking good for the New Jersey 5s, who are eyeing down their potential next opponent if they do win this game number 3, which would be against the California BLQK Bears in the semifinal round, which is taking place tomorrow at 11 a.m. Cameron and I will be here all morning bringing you the coverage for the championship round and semifinal matchups. First semifinal at 9 a.m., second at 11 a.m. And then we will conclude with the championship round right here at 3 p.m. Stay on the MajorLeaguePickleball.net website or head to YouTube or MSG Networks for the championship round if you're in New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, I believe. Probably New York as well. Oh, Erik Lange had a juicy opportunity and just misses it into the net. He can't believe it.
What a location, though, from Allyce Jones, finding the right shoulder of James Ignatowich.
Another miss for the shock.
And this is where it's so tough, because as soon as people start swinging your direction, you want to be able to punch right back. But hard to go. Big swing off another big swing. The timing becomes that much more difficult.
Sailing long for Lange. And the 5s within closing distance.
Again, they know that they're trying to apply pressure with their 4th shot, that first volley for the St. Louis Shock, but haven't been able to get that ball down enough.
Point 11.
Lange will take another crack at it against Ignatowich. He goes drive, it works with a nice bounce off the net. Sometimes just need a little help along the way.
A little net love.
It's an overhead clinic and a nice volleyball roll from Allyce Jones trying to defend that one. The amount of pace that this ball comes off his paddle with for James Ignatowich is unbelievable.
It's just remarkable. Also the angle in which he hit that, not necessarily to the edge of the court, but just being able to drop that low enough. That ball was not bouncing up.
Oh, Ignatowich was ready to close out too soon. Allyce Jones not going anywhere. The St. Louis Shock, not a lot of time left, but still some time to come back in this one. Erik Lange, line drive in the corner.
And that's the second time we've seen Erik Lange go with that forehand right to Leigh Jansen. It was well above her hip, thinking that ball's out.
Goes to the hip again. Whoa. Whoa. That was such a weird point.
Well, the ball took a weird bounce as it skidded off the line, so spinning all sorts of different directions.
Point 20, the shock is challenging at the
That save right there from Leigh Jansen.
Jansen's body on the rebound. We're going to go to video challenge.
So the call on the floor is being challenged right now to see if the counter attack from Leigh Jansen, a point before it ended, went off of her body instead of the paddle.
And I don't mind this challenge. It was close enough as she was trying to pull this paddle across her body.
And it came back with a wicked spin. Good for Ignatowich for being able to pick that ball up that caught the white paint and spun outside.
Here's a look.
Oh, she got it.
Yeah, she absolutely did.
How? I don't know, but
I think that's about on the top, very top part of the handle for Leigh Jansen.
It's about as good as it gets right there. Oh boy. Put your paddle out and pray for the best.
Unreal slide right there, and this is also fun to watch as she has only that part of the court to cover, so that's what allows so many of these right side players to shift, find that backhand, and that's a tough ball right on her body and high. That's just a really nice slide from Leigh Jansen. As that paddle also crosses her body from left to right, it's also going to create a little bit of side spin, which is why you started to see that ball just flying off of not only her paddle, but also off the court.
On video review, the call from the court stands. There was no contact with the body.
Call stands, no contact on the body of Leigh Jansen. Just an incredibly athletic play. That was so good. So, match point, Cameron, on the side of the New Jersey 5's with a chance to punch their ticket to the semifinal round. Right here.
2014.
Oh, Leigh Jansen almost had another similar looking shot to the one that just got reviewed.
That's exactly right, right on the same spot on her body.
The 5's frozen on 20. They can only win on their serve. Oh, James Ignatowich, so good with his precision.
Yeah, fantastic setup shot right there. You can see just how far that is out of the reach of Erik Lange.
Ball is called wide, and the New Jersey 5's sought revenge coming in to MLP Daytona when they dropped their quarterfinal match in Mesa. They have turned the tables here and punched their ticket to the semifinal round. And was that an impressive 3-game sweep, Cameron? How were they able to get it done here in this dominant fashion?
Well, so impressed with the firepower of the New Jersey 5's. They came out looking to speed up on any ball coming their direction. You had no shot to try and feel your way into any one of these games. Each one, both women's, men's, and mixed, just astonishing play from each of these athletes.
Leigh Jansen and James Ignatowich put the finishing touch on what was already a dominant performance from women's doubles to men's doubles. They didn't miss on any of their fronts. And they are a team to watch as we continue our coverage with the championship round. for Championship Sunday. We have some interesting semifinal matchups as we check in now with Chad Edwards courtside with the winners.
Thanks, Michelle. The 5's, you guys got knocked out in the quarterfinals in Mesa. What was the adjustment that you guys made between Mesa and here?
I just feel like our team together is very comfortable with each other. We came early, we practiced. I think we just fine-tuned everything that we thought we could work on for Mesa. I think we came out here and we were like just a team. I think we really pumped each other up. We're really supportive through the whole thing, and that's a huge thing in MLP.
And Hayden, like Allyce said, you guys look very comfortable as a team. There's a lot of team chemistry. What's the approach going into tomorrow, well, through to tonight into tomorrow?
Just get a good night's sleep tonight and then come back and do the same thing tomorrow morning. Another dub.
Well, the 5's moving on to tomorrow, taking on California Black Bears. Back to you, Michelle.
That's right, Chad. Thanks so much. That semifinal matchup taking place tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. following the first semifinal matchup, which will be between the Seattle Pioneers and the defending champs from Mesa. The LA Mad Drop says our coverage from the Major League Pickleball Daytona Beach continues here from Pictona at Holly Hill. That's a wrap for us here and our entire Boxcar production crew. For Michelle McMahon, Cameron Irwin, and Chet Edwards, we thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. We will see you right back here, same time, 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow morning.